Adrian Griffin was fired earlier, but Monty Williams still has a job. You might be asking yourself, how can that be possible? The Bucks were second in the Eastern Conference with a 30-13 record, and the Pistons went on a 28 game losing streak. The difference comes down to team expectations and goals. The Pistons are not judged the same as the Bucks. One team has championship aspirations, the other is playing not to be named the worst team of all time. The Pistons don't have a star like Giannis that can demand change in the middle of the season. That's what you get when you have a generational talent like Giannis. He's saying, "Look, this isn't working. I want to win a championship. That's what Milwaukee deserves. Our team is ready to compete, but the head coach, yeah, we're winning, but we're not doing the things that make us a championship team." That's what you get with the Giannis. The Pistons do not have that. I don't believe Monty Williams will be fired this season because from the start of the year, it was finished. At this point, he's never had a healthy roster, which he's about to get back with Cade Cunningham and Monte Morris set to return. And let's just be honest, the roster lacks NBA talent. I mean, we were giving minutes to Isaiah Livers. James Wiseman was the backup center over Marvin Bagley. Killian Hayes continues to get starts on this team. And I think most Pistons fans would agree he doesn't look like an NBA player. He's not an NBA player. He's a third string point guard at best. So no coach would have found success with this team. I don't believe it. I don't believe you could have brought Greg Popovich in and or Eric Spoelstra or any other good NBA coach. They might have had 4 wins, but they weren't winning with this roster. It was never going to happen. I was a delusional Pistons fan at the beginning of the year. I thought, like what I had mentioned earlier in the podcast, the return of Cade, year 2 of Ivy and Duran, Burks and Boyan being back, Isaiah Stewart, Monty Morris. I really thought this was a 28-32 win team. I thought that was possible. And, you know, maybe it could have been. I'm still dreaming about it, but this team just hasn't been healthy since the beginning of the year. What if Monty Williams had it probably still isn't 28-32, but we definitely got more than 4 wins if they had been healthy. I mean, this team went 2-1 in their first 3. They looked pretty good. Let's just be honest. But for the rest of the season, this is what I want to see from Monty Williams. This will restore my faith in him. I want to see him get creative with lineups. And I know I've talked about that a few times on this podcast already, but I want to see him get creative with lineups. I want to continue to see Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala get minutes. I want to see Asar with the second unit with spacing. I want to see him with Monte Morris. I want to see him with Burks. I want to see him with Gallinari and Muscala. You can even throw Isaiah Stewart in the second unit, and I'm okay with it. He provides punch in the middle, rim protection, and a little bit of three-point shooting at the 5 spot. Or you get it with Mike Muscala. It doesn't matter, but that's the kind of creative lineups I want to see with Asar. I want to see him bench Killian Hayes. Like, this era needs to be over. I don't care if you're a Pistons fan that really still has faith in him or not. That's cool. I'm delusional about a few things as well. You can be a delusional about Killian Hayes. It's not a big deal. That is fine. But to me, the era needs to be over. It was a fun experiment. It hasn't worked out well. For some reason, the Pistons, they're terrible at drafting and developing French players. It just happens. Look at Sekou Demboya. It just the way they are. I don't know why, but that is just the way the Pistons are. If you're a French player and you're on the Pistons big board, dude, good luck. Good luck. You want to go to San Antonio. That's where you want to go. They know how to deal with the French guys, and that's fine with me. I want to see him bring Isaiah Stewart off the bench. That's also part of the creative second lineups. I mean, look, he came off the bench against Milwaukee. He had 19 points, 8 rebounds, I believe a steal or 2 and 5 blocks. He had one of the best games of his season. There's just something about bringing a high energy, skilled player off the bench like Isaiah Stewart. Like, there's just something about it. It just works. You can start with Duran, and then you can bring Isaiah, and then you don't have to play James Wiseman. And then you can pair him with, you can still play him with Jalen Duran, or you can play him with Gallinari or Mike Muscala. Like, you have options bringing him off the bench. And then with the starting lineup, you can still have more offense and, get something going. That's what I want to see from Monty Williams. I mean, I don't think he's bringing a championship to Detroit anytime soon. I don't know which coach would, but I do want to give him a fair shot with a healthy roster. And I want a few more organizational meetings where they finally sit him down and just say, look, Killian Hayes is done. You need to bring Isaiah Stewart off the bench, and you need to play Marcus Sasser a few more minutes and just get him some playing time. That's what we need to see from him. That is what the organization needs to do with Monty Williams. But if I'm being truthful, dude, I don't see this guy making it to year 3 as the head coach of the Detroit Pistons unless they make drastic changes. The only thing I will say, and this is how I will end it, the dude needs a fair shot fair with an NBA roster to see what he can do. And that's what he's going to get hopefully this offseason.